welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna paint this little, what's it called? A porcupine. And I just wanted to share the process with you. I'm gonna start by filling in the darks. Also, I want to talk about a bunch of stuff today, because it's been a while. Yeah, so I'm in art school now. It's been about 2 weeks of classes, and I'm really enjoying myself. We're doing so much stuff. It's kind of, it's taken all of my time, obviously, because I'm a full-time student. But yeah, we did some sculpture class, painting class. I actually sculpted the portrait of my classmate, which was really nice. My teachers are all very nice. My classmates are all very nice. I just feel very lucky. I feel very lucky and I feel very blessed, to be honest. So that's a good thing. I kind of missed painting a bit because I was working on assignments, but I'm back. I did like painting in class, so I wasn't able to film that. I posted some of it on my Instagram account, if you want to see. But I really wanted to work on some big pieces again. I will get the opportunity to work on big pieces, obviously, because I'm studying fine art, but it's gonna take a while because we are focusing on experimenting mostly. So the first year in this particular school, we try out basically everything. So that will also contain like performance art, and I'm a bit nervous about that. It's not really my cup of tea, but I'm open to trying anything, honestly. Especially since the classes I've had so far were so, how do you call it? I just learned a lot, I guess I want to say. My teachers are all so nice and helpful. And that's very nice. Also, most of my teachers have been telling me, like, I won't tell you what to paint or what to draw or what to make. That's not what I'm here for, but I'm here to support you in your making and make you think about making. And so it's gonna be quite conceptual. I already heard that from some other students. But I feel like that's good. Because if you don't know, I did the Milan Art Institute before, which was amazing. And that's where I learned a lot of my skills. But when you're like studying at home, for example, the Milan Art Institute is an online program, and I didn't pick the option to have a mentor because it was too expensive for me back then. It was pretty tough to come up with concepts that like are interesting, because you start by making things you love. That makes the most sense in my mind anyway. Like you just start out with thinking about like what you think is beautiful or like what piques your interest, and you collect a bunch of those things. For example, movies, or I don't know, pictures or other artists or things that you love. You just collect a bunch of those, and then you can they call it still like an artist, which makes sense, and learn from what you see. But if you're alone and you're not getting any feedback, it becomes quite hard to see like what is good art and what is not. Because if you're in a group setting like I am in school right now, there are so many different opinions, and you kind of learn from each other. Which I feel like is what I needed, so that's good. I'm mixing a lighter color, by the way, because I feel like I got most of my darks. But it's a really difficult color to mix. I'm mixing like this kind of shadowy part because I'm moving on to the midtones now. But I see, like, I have a reference picture of like a few different porcupines, and because it's white, I'm trying to make kind of like a medium brown with a bit of blue, or like a gray, you know what I mean? Let's see if this is what I was trying. Yeah, that's it. Ooh! So, as you can see, my brushes suck. It's not because of the brush, it's because of me, because I like the way I paint and the way I mix color. I don't use a palette knife to mix my colors, because I want the color to be on my brush immediately, and I feel like using a palette knife just takes away some of the joy in painting for me, because it takes so long and I have to be patient, and I don't really want to do all of that. Also, there will always be some remnants of paint on the palette knife, and I have to like scrape glass, and it just doesn't feel good, you know? So I prefer using my brush, so all my brushes are a bit frayed from all the mixing, and I have to choose oftentimes, like, do I want to buy new brushes and start over, or will I keep using the frayed brush until it breaks apart? Because brushes are expensive, and I really like buying the good quality brushes, because they last longer as well, and it's easier to clean them and restore them. Like, every once in a while, you should clean your oil paint brushes. This is not even an oil paint brush, I think. I think it's a watercolor brush. Yeah. But it's small and it's kind of round and it holds a lot of paint. So, I really like it. It's good for like these detailed parts, because my painting that I'm working on, like, this is the corner of the painting, and it's quite big. So I'm putting in like the details now. That's the stage I'm at. That's also why you see like all the flowers. I'm gonna be working on those as well. But yeah, brush cleaning. Maybe I can give you some tips how I do it, because I mainly use oil paint, so it's quite difficult to clean oil paint brushes because of the oil. I'm sorry about the sniffing, by the way. I don't know what it is. A lot of people are sick. Maybe I have a cold or something. But I'm gonna show you what I do in between. So I have a rag. I have multiple rags. This is one I'm using right now. As you can see, there's a bit paint on it. But I, like, every time I start painting, I grab a new one, because I don't want to accidentally put my fingers in wet paint and then get everything all over. So I have one from yesterday, which has a bit more paint. Hold on. I'll show you. This one. And basically what I do is I just go to like secondhand shops and buy the fabric that nobody wants to buy. And then I rip it into small pieces and I use it as my oil paint rags. And honestly, using cotton is probably the best idea. I don't know if this is cotton. I haven't really been liking it because it doesn't absorb a lot. But for example, I also have some like old linen bed sheets that were like ruined, and you could not make a new project out of that. So yeah, I just use that. And then I rip them into smaller pieces, and then I use them when I paint to wipe my brush in between. And then every time I mix a new color, I wipe it like this. And then I put it into my solvent and wipe it again. And that's basically how I clean my brushes. So when I'm done painting, I just leave this like this because I know I paint a lot. So it doesn't matter if it's not like completely clean. I don't have to clean my brushes after every session because I paint so much. But if you paint a lot less, I would recommend going to the sink and washing it with brush soap. Brush soap is the most gentle in this case. And if you want it really clean, then you should use dish soap. So every once in a while, I go to my sink, I clean everything with the solvent first, and then I use dish soap. And if you're afraid, because you're using natural hair, that it will ruin your brush, use like a gentler soap. Dish soap is honestly the best for getting oil out of your brushes. Yeah, so if you get the fraying like I do, I think there's like a life hack for that as well. Like you can use linseed oil and then just pinch the bristles together and let it sit for a while. I even heard about people using baby oil, but I don't really trust that because I don't want baby oil to get into my painting, you know? So I'm kind of careful with the stuff I use. Also, if I do use dish soap, I rinse it out super well. And because I use my brushes to mix, it also gets on this part of the brush. I don't remember what it's called in English. In Dutch we call it the bus. literally like a bus. Paint is not supposed to go on there, because if it gets into this part, it's like impossible to clean out, and basically that means the paint will get stuck like right here where my nail is pointing. And that also means that like the bristles will fray. I can show you an example because I accidentally do this all the time. So here you can see there's paint like on the bottom right here, and the bristles are all frayed. They are not supposed to stand like this. This was a very nice flat brush, but not anymore because I used it. So yeah, that's brush cleaning there for you. Okay. I'm just pulling up a reference of some flowers because I want some flowers over here to make the transition of the porcupine into the grass a bit easier. So I'm gonna mix a warm white, just a little bit of titanium white and a tiny bit of cadmium yellow and cadmium red to make it warm. I'm using more yellow than red because it's closer to white. Okay, I have a pretty color. So I'm really, like, there's not really a sketch here of a flower because I didn't want the pencil sketch to show through in the end since I used like a transparent green for the background. I wanted to just plant brush strokes as flowers, you know? So I'm just going in like without a plan, just looking at my reference. Oh, that was really frayed. Did you see that? There we go. So I'm just looking at the reference and then looking at my painting and just getting in the general shape of the petals. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm also kind of focused on the illusion of detail. Like, when I step back from the painting, will it look like a flower, you know? And I'm starting with just the lightest color because it's easy to form a shape that way over a darker background, you know, because I have the green already. And then if I want to implement shadows later, I can do so. I usually use, like, for example, right now I'm using yellow, so I will probably use just a tiny touch of purple to indicate where, like, the petal goes in and comes out, you know, to indicate depth. Because light and shadow are used to create depth. And also complementary colors are used next to each other a lot. If you want to know more about that, I explained some about that in some other videos I made. But yeah, I love color theory. I know some people find theory really boring, but to me it's so interesting. Especially like what I recommend you get into is the pigment color wheel, especially if you're using oil paint. It's really important to know your colors. Because in oil paint, like in most types of painting, you can get away with using like ultramarine blue. That's a Sandy hair. Did you see that? Sandy is my dog. In most types of painting, you can get away with getting like primary colors or like ultramarine blue, magenta, some sort of yellow, some sort of like red, blue, and yellow, and white and black. But in oil paint, there are so many advantages to using all the pigments that are available to your advantage. Like, oh, I said advantage twice. Oh, my shoulder is cracking. Jeez. So yeah, the pigments used in oil paint are most of the time pigments used in oil paint are actually pigments. And you can check on the label of oil paint tubes what pigment is used. And sometimes brands like to name their colors different things than the pigments that are actually used. But if you check the packaging, it's usually on there. Pigments all come from the earth in one way or another. And you don't have to know where they come from per se, but it's kind of interesting. Some come from rocks and some come from flowers. But you cannot get this color any other way. Like, some colors you can't mix. Some people don't understand this. They think, oh, I need like the basic colors and I can mix all the colors. That's not true. You will never be able to mix a neon pink without the right pigments. For example, if I use cadmium red and I want a neon colored pink, it's just not gonna happen. Because cadmium red is a very red type of red. I don't know. That sounds silly. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, it's really red. Let me show you. This is the one I use. this is never gonna make a good saturated pink. It will make a different type of pink that you can also use to your advantage. But if you want a really good pink, like a bright pink, which is, I'm also telling you this because this was my struggle in the beginning when I was oil painting. I needed this pigment, quinacridone magenta. It's glorious, the most glorious pink pigment ever. As you can see, I also use different brands because I like different colors from different brands, but my favorite brands are Gamblin and Old Holland, and I use some Winsor & Newton, but I only use the professional quality ones from each brand because in the study quality they use fake pigments, and that's the issue. Usually it says on the packaging, it says, for example, cadmium red hue, and if it says hue, it's not the real deal. Also, people ask me a lot of the time, like, how do you paint with like those itty bitty tubes? I have been painting with the same tubes for like the entire time I've been oil painting. And I just keep buying a few at a time to like make my collection bigger. In my opinion, that's just how you should do it. You can start with a few, knowing you cannot mix everything. That's fine. So you can just practice, because I know oil paint is expensive. And then just, if you like it, just continue and add on. I do not recommend getting the study quality paint, because you will never know what it's really like to use real pigment and real professional oil paint. And if you're like, but it's still too expensive for me, I don't want to buy professional quality tubes just yet. Okay, I can see that. I see you. I hear you. Just buy the student quality paints where it doesn't say hue. For example, this from Gamblin, the 1980 colors, they are wonderful. I love them. Because they don't use hues. They use real pigment, they just dilute it a lot. So you need more paint, but it's also cheaper. So try those. I don't really like the Winton ones. I tried those as well. They have a lot of hues, and they put something in their paint to make it thicker, which is nice if you want a lot of paint. But I would go for quality over quantity, if you know what I'm saying. Oh. Okay. Also, I'm thinking of making tutorials. I know I won't be having time to film tutorials anytime soon because I think it will take more production quality, because these videos, the videos I'm making now are easy to film for me right now because it just takes my camera and my painting and I can just talk to you and have a good time and paint my thing. Oh, this brush is dying. And I can just have a little yap session, but if I want to make a tutorial, I want it to be good, you know? I want it to be easy to understand and easy to follow. But let me know if you do want a tutorial from me. What would you like to see? What's the thing that's like on your mind most? Like, I need help with this. And I'll see what I can do. This is nice. I like it. Okay. My battery is dying. Let me see how much I have left. Okay. I might film some more. Maybe a different part. Yeah. I'm gonna stop here for now because my battery is dying. And then I'm gonna charge it and come back and we'll do a different part of the painting. And if we don't, thank you for watching. And if we don't, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!